The next effect I'm going to show you is going to introduce a new element that we have not yet worked with, something called a solid and also something called a mask. Now if you look under the layer menu, we have the ability to add something that has a really weird name that makes no sense to anybody except for people who know how to use After Effects. A solid. What in the world is that? It's literally a layer with nothing on it. The solid can be many things. You can add special effects to the solid. You can also make the solid transparent or opaque and have it as a background. So you can do all kinds of cool things with it. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to duplicate the layer of the panda that we have here. What we're going to try to do here is an effect where we're focusing on the panda. So let's say, for example, you are doing a documentary about pandas, and the panda is about to eat some bamboo. And we really want to call attention to this. So we're going to put a mask around the panda with a vignette kind of effect where we have a little feathering, and we'll still be able to see the background, but it'll be dimmed out a little bit. Now you'll see what I'm talking about once we get going. So the first thing we're going to do is let's go ahead and duplicate this panda layer. So click on the layer and press Command or Control D as in dog to duplicate it. So now we have two copies of this. Now on this layer, we're going to add a mask. So go up here to the rectangle tool and click and hold it down. You'll see that we have other shapes in here. We're going to go for the rounded rectangle. Now with this tool, we're going to click right about here and we're going to drag out a boundary so that we can focus on the panda. Once again, the whole idea is that we are going to focus on the panda and he's eating something. So let me go ahead and twirl this closed and hide the layer underneath it so you see what's going on with this mask. See that? When we draw a mask on a layer, it automatically makes everything around it invisible. So we can only see the panda, which is exactly what we want. But as I mentioned before, we're still going to be able to see the background, but it's going to be dimmer. So how are we going to do that? That's where our solid comes in. So head to the layer menu, choose New, choose Solid, and then you can change the color of the solid by clicking on this swatch one time and go for a complete black. Just drag it all the way down the corner like so, your cursor, and click OK. Also click Make Comp Size so that the solid that we're going to get will be the same size as our document. Then simply hit OK. Now everything is black because the solid is on the top layer. We want the solid to live in between these two layers here. So we're going to click on the solid layer and hold our mouse down and drag it until we see the black line in between the two panda layers. So now we have our panda, we have our solid, and we have the other layer back there. So how are we going to dim this layer? Well, we're going to hit the letter T on our keyboard, which is going to twirl open the opacity property. Now go over here where it says 100% and click and simply move your mouse to the left to slowly bring back the visibility of this so we can get rid of it a little bit. As you see now, the solid is see-through and we have the effect of focusing on our panda. But wait, we're not done just yet. As you know, I like to throw in added bonuses. We're going to go back to that mask and we're actually going to feather it. Feathering means making the edges softer. If I deselect or click away from it with the move tool here, you'll notice that we have a very hard edge. Okay, let me just go ahead and show you that. So it's a hard edge. I want to make that nice and soft. So I'm going to click on the mask one more time. And by the way, you can always resize by putting your mouse in the corners here if you want to, but let's leave it as it is. If you look under our layer here, okay, the panda layer, the first layer we have, and twirl it open, you see that we have a masks category. And under the mask, we have the name of our mask. Let's go ahead and twirl this open, and you see that we have something called a mask feather. The feather is going to soften the edges, and it works in conjunction with the opacity and the mask expansion. So on the feather property, I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to simply move my mouse to the right. And you see that the further I go, the wider that mask gets until it goes away completely because it's just too much. So try to find a nice happy medium where we can still see that it's a rectangle, but we have this nice soft edge. So 43% looks about good to me, all right? Now the mask expansion allows us to tighten that mask or blow it out from the little yellow boundary. So I'm going to bring it in just a teensy weensy bit like so. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my select or move tool, click away from the mask anywhere on this gray area, like so, and I'm going to close all these things, and let's see what we've done here. We've created a really cool effect where we've dimmed our background, we've created a mask so we can focus on one element in here, so it now looks like something that you would find in a documentary. Use this effect for all kinds of things that you want your audience to focus on. It's a really great technique, especially when you want to call attention to other things and dim other things out. So we have 3 layers, we have a solid, we have a mask, we have a feather, all elements that we haven't covered before. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and you can see the power of After Effects if you just use different layers and use your imagination.